Welcoming you to the Leela podcast, a place where you can discover all things Osho Leela. You'll get to meet the community, learn about community life, and listen in as we share about our upcoming events and workshops from the perspective of the facilitators and the attendees, supporting you to find your way to Leela. Hello and welcome to the Leela podcast. My name is Louise, I'm your host today, and today we have the wonderful Antony.
Thank you, Louise.
Joining us all the way from the beautiful Totnes. If you don't know Totnes, it's in Devon, it's beautiful, you should definitely visit.
Absolutely.
And Antony is here. He's actually here because he has this amazing, wonderful new system called Workshop Angel, which we're going to be talking about a bit later. But Antony isn't just somebody we've hired in from the world out there. Antony is actually already connected to the Leela family. He's been coming to Leela for some years, and which makes it even more beautiful because we already have this wonderful layer of connection and family, really, that Leela is.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to talk about Leela, we're going to talk about Antony's experience here, and we're going to be sharing a little bit about Leela's upgrade because we are upgrading here at Osho Leela. And it's very exciting. It's very exciting from a booking office perspective. It's going to be very exciting from your experience. So we're going to get into that as well.
Yeah.
So welcome
Thank
to the
you,
podcast.
Louise. What a gorgeous welcome. Really appreciate it.
Oh, and it is super lovely to have you here
Thank you.
in person because we were just like, why don't we do a podcast? Because you're going to be here anyway, talking about technical malarkey things.
Admin
and
stuff.
why not just get to know each other a bit better and allow everybody else to get to know you as well. So
Thank you for the opportunity.
And we have also behind the scenes the beautiful, wonderful Kalyan, who is our guest videographer today. So we're also super grateful for Kalyan as well behind the scenes.
We are. And she also works for Workshop Angel.
Ta-da!
So, beautiful team effort today.
Team effort, definitely. Yeah. So I want to speak first of all how we met in person because this is what I love as well, just about life anyway, just about synchronistic moments. But so we'd been in an email conversation, never met you, been in an email conversation. Okay, we're going to meet next Thursday to talk about Workshop Angel and bringing it to Leela. So we'd arranged a Zoom for a week's time, probably a week and a half's time. Yeah. And then I'm at Buddha Field Festival. I'm just there. The first person I walk into and have just a conversation with is Antony. And at that moment in time, he's also putting up posters for Workshop Angel. And I'm like, I think I've got a Zoom call for you next week, with you next week. And we're like, wow, what are the chances of just, it's a small world, but also just the first person that I bumped into already had a Zoom call. Didn't know you, didn't know what you looked like, kind of thing. So,
it was so funny because that was pretty well the first poster I'd put up. Yeah. So I was like, great, I've got one up, it's straight, it's in the middle of this panel, people are going to see it. Yeah. And then I look round and this kind of angel comes up to me. Where? Louise is very angelic. And she's just looking at me with this kind of, there's something going on, we're connected in some way. Okay, who is this? And then Louise said, Antony, Workshop Angel. It's Louise from Leela. And it was such a delightful moment. Yeah. To feel that connection and feel like it's the very first poster I'd put up. You literally just arrived. Yeah. And it's kind of like we were meant to connect.
Meant to connect. And it's funny because actually I'd already had a conversation with Kalyan, don't mind me saying, in the shower about Workshop Angel, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. And I'd seen your marketing a year before at Buddha Field as well. So it's already that, I was like, it's working. Yeah. It's working. Your marketing is working. Because it's now there, right? It's 3 times, I think, isn't it, before you...
Yeah, absolutely. It's the 3 times rule. Yeah. And for quite a few people who go to Buddha Field, It's been the 3 times rule in the toilets. So we're probably the only product on earth which launches its marketing in composting toilets.
Yeah, right. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
But it feels just such a great place where everyone's really relaxed about having that kind of information around. And it's brought us many great contacts.
Yeah, great. That's amazing.
Delighted you're one of them.
Love it. So tell me a bit about your connection to Leela, because I don't know whether we've gone fully into it, but like, how long have you been coming to Osho Leela for?
So I first came to Osho Leela in 2011.
Okay, wow.
It was a time in my life where I wanted to explore the whole kind of tantra conscious sexuality thing.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about it, but I saw this random place called Osho Leela was holding this thing called the Tantra Festival. And it was quite a step out of my comfort zone to book up for it. So I booked up, I came, and the bit I remember more than anything else is someone, no idea their name or anything now, I remember them saying in the middle of the event, "You're like a rabbit in the headlights, aren't you, Antony?" And it was just such a big change from my conventional life that I'd led.
Wow.
Working in the corporate world, and I had run my own business, but with very much a kind of normal take on life.
Yeah, wow.
And so this half of me was like, oh my God. And obviously being a Tantra festival, there's elements of things that go on which one wouldn't expect to see in the conventional world.
Yeah.
And if that's the world you're used to, I'm like, whoa. So the whole rabbit in the headlights thing happened, but also just as it went on, and as I felt the open-heartedness and the, this whole vibe of the hugging and just the beautiful personal connection, I just found myself dropping more and more into that vibe and feeling like, oh my God, this is me. This is who I am. And I guess many of us go through some point in our lives where we've been in one world and feeling we're one kind of individual. And certainly people who come to Osho Leela, I think, then have this kind of moment where it's like, oh no, actually that isn't who I am. I'm really feeling my heart, I'm this person over here.
Yeah.
And coming that time in the summer of 2011 was the beginning of that process. And it was the beginning of my conscious journey. And funnily enough, I just met somebody in the sofa area this morning when I got there. I forget who it was now. And I said, this place has changed my life. And so I've been to dance events, conscious sexuality events, ever since, pretty well every year, notwithstanding the whole COVID times. And I feel like a lot of the person that I've become is based around the love, the open-heartedness and the depth and wisdom that this place has infused into my being. So I'm very grateful to Osho Leela.
Wonderful. Yeah, and I gather that, just listening to your story, it's such a beautiful kind of unravelling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just just those connection points of like coming back and the sense of community and knowing people and like 12 years down the line.
Yeah. And now every time I come here, I turn off the road up the drive, and many of you may know there's this beautiful drive that comes up to the Osho Leela facility in the main house. As I turn off the road and turn up the drive, just my whole being goes, feels like I'm coming to a place that feels like home.
Yeah.
And invariably there'll be somebody walking up the drive, or just as I turn into the entrance, it's like, hello, another beautiful old friend. So it feels a really special place to come.
Yeah, gorgeous. It's funny because I've just got off the train, as you know.
Yeah.
I was late. And we drove up the drive, and obviously now it's autumn, so it's just like, wow, beautiful. But it was just this bit, I've only been away for like 3 days, and it was just like, I come from London as well, so it's like an extra layer, but it was just like, Oh, yeah, because you can just,
arrived home.
Nice feeling, hey?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, beautiful. So, so Antony, tell me, like, what is, because we talk a lot about, like, Leela medicine here. And I think it's really good for our kind of audience just to kind of, like, understand, because I think it means different things for different people. Like, you've talked more about the intimacy events and so on, and like we have also the transformational programs, and we have the more kind of like like the land-based, like connecting to nature and
growing
stuff,
vegetables and all that kind of thing.
So what does, I guess, if you speak into what Leela medicine is for you, and that'd be lovely.
Let's talk about that. So I think the biggest thing for me at Leela is that everyone here is so open-hearted. And it's like, I think most people listening to this podcast will be aware that in the conventional world, there's a tendency with the way our society is and the way we're encouraged to be successful and to keep capitalism flowing on, that there's a tendency to maybe have a little bit of a shell around us and maybe a little bit defensive at times in the way we deal with situations and people, and be a little bit more in our ego than perhaps we know as people who hang around at Leela is possibly good for us as human beings. So it's that real softness that you feel at Leela, that open-heartedness, that sense of human connection, that sense that vulnerability and authenticity, just being yourself, is completely acceptable, encouraged. And what you find when those things are happening and a part of the way you communicate with people, it's just there's this connection you start to feel, and this flow of energy and flow of communication and flow of, it may sound a little almost naff to say flow of love, but it feels like it's that. It just feels so special. And I think if it was only that, it would be amazing, but perhaps would be kind of a little bit stuck in one kind of energetic area. But the other thing that comes with it that I absolutely love is this immense sense of fun. Most things are completely accepted here, and one of the things that always blows my mind when I'm here, and I so wish it was part of my everyday life, is that whenever you're here, the first event of the day is movement and dance. And I can walk into a dance, whether it's, the first 15 minutes at a festival, or, as being here today, just more in the community, inside the house. It's in the main room in the house with the folks who are living here. That music comes on and it reaches some point where there's a drive and a beat, and you're letting go of everything with your body. And I can walk into that environment feeling, it's not always me, but sometimes I feel a little bit low, a little bit heavy, maybe I haven't woken up yet. 15 minutes later, I'm like on top of the world. And it's just the most epic way to start the day. So that sense of movement, of fun, of dance, and connection through those things, as well as that open-heartedness, and I'm sure as many people listening to this may know, hugging is at the heart of the Leela experience. But also things like, you come to an event and on the Saturday night there'll be some kind of party, maybe with a theme, and it's all about dressing up and dropping into different characters. And there's this huge cupboard here that always blows my mind. It's just full of the craziest clothing ever. And so you can go in there and become like a different person for the evening. And it's just a chance to explore all the parts of your being with just a big smile on your face.
Yeah, beautiful. Wow, thank you for sharing. That's a lovely kind of, I love how you weaved all that together of like the different elements of, Leela medicine really, and how diverse it is really. And, there's something for everybody, and some of those points as well could initially be really uncomfortable. A lot of it actually, probably initially.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wow, actually, yeah, I forgot people don't dance in the morning. It's like, you don't, it's just not, you don't even have a dance in the morning. It's like, gosh, it's so rare, and now I'm just like, oh yeah, of course, move your body, come together and start with joy and so much. So,
and that is such a medicine. It's great that you use the word Leela medicine. Because it really does feel like something that just lifts your being from wherever it's been to just such a fab place to start the day. It reminds me actually of, I lived in Spain for 6 years.
Oh, nice.
And in a very sunny part of Spain. And one of the things that always struck me in Spain was you'd open the shutters in Spain rather than the curtains. And 7 days out of 10, the sun would be shining. And that just, your day starts with your spirits lifted. And we know this isn't quite possible in not so sunny England. But the whole experience at Leela is the equivalent of that Spanish sunshine in terms of starting your day up here rather than some lower place you've got to put energy in to rise up from. Yeah,
right. Yeah, and it feels as well as you're kind of talking, because like it's interesting because like what happens when you go home then? What's your morning? Because with anything, right, which is good for us, and it's like, okay, we know dancing's good, we're releasing all these happy hormones, we know hugging's great, get the happy hormones, or if it's yoga or a meditation or whatever it is, and it's like the going home piece is always really, how do you actually bring more of that into your life?
That is such a good question. And I think what's interesting is when you leave this place, there's these mixed feelings. You feel so great from the medicine, yet there's also this like, no, I'm leaving all that vibe and stepping into something which is perhaps going to be a little bit more effort to keep that maintained. So the biggest thing that I feel utterly privileged to have in my life that brings that medicine to me is living in Totnes. And if any of you have ever thought about coming to Totnes, please come. It really, the whole town feels like it's a 365 days a year festival. I could literally be out at something probably with a choice to make every night of the week. And the people there, the kind of tribe that we have there of kind of more conscious folk has the same open-heartedness and yet also the same sense of fun. So I feel really privileged to live in a town where actually I can continue that vibe of Leela in my day-to-day life and have a lot of friends with that same approach to life.
It's key, isn't it?
It really is.
To have that. I've been to Totnes once. We went for a week. That was my holiday this year. I forgot to renew my passport. It worked out perfectly because actually I was supposed to spend the time in Totnes and met some of your community and danced, and it was just such a beautiful experience. Really beautiful.
It's a really epic
very
vibe.
Lucky.
I think beyond the Totnes community, I do have a pretty epic sound system in the kitchen, and you come down, you put on just some tracks that are going to lift your energy, put your breakfast together, take some space because my work's a lot of sitting at the computer. So set a timer, take some space so I don't end up too kind of like this all day. Pop down, do a bit of washing up, put a few really beaty, heartfelt tracks on, and
maybe
that's how I do it.
Maybe we could we are talking about putting together an Osho Leela Spotify.
Ooh,
so maybe we could get a playlist from you that we could probably connect.
Let's
in the
that would be
in the
amazing.
show notes.
Yay.
That would be cool. We could do that because we're going to start getting playlists together and stuff. So
that'd be brilliant. Maybe a list
have a morning gathering at home on their own.
That'd be fantastic.
So we'll put one together.
Yes.
That'd be great. Cool. So, and are you coming to any other Leela events this this year, or
no, I tend to be more of a Leela festival
summary
kind of person.
vibes,
More of a
isn't
summary vibe.
Yeah, okay.
Leela attendee.
Yeah, okay. What did you come to this year? It was
plenty. So this year I did 2.
Yeah.
I did the intimacy gathering, and I did Pura Vida. And for those of you who've been coming to Leela for a while, Pura Vida was a celebration of some of the old hands who've been working here for as long as I've been coming here, Dev and Niraj.
Yeah.
And it was great to be with a lot of people I've known ever since I've been coming and share that experience.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you had a good time at the intimacy gathering?
Yeah, the intimacy gathering was fabulous.
It was a beautiful experience, wasn't it? Yeah,
lovely.
So you're here over the next couple of days, I think, aren't you? Because we've started this process of basically, like I said at the beginning, bringing in upgrades to Osho Leela, to the user experience from the outset, and to our experience as well. So we are streamlining like crazy in so many areas actually of Osho Leela, and making things flow more easily. I like to think more in that feminine flowing energy as well. And part of that is bringing in your creation. So
my baby.
Tell us all about it.
Okay, so what Louise is describing is a product called Workshop Angel. It's been a multi-year project of mine from an idea that came to me before COVID times. And it just pulled together a lot of life experiences that I'd had. So it isn't always obvious to everyone, but I have quite a geeky background. I ran a technology business in the 90s around training silicon chip designers, a new technique for silicon chip design. And took some time out from being in the kind of that industry and working so hard. But reached a point where I was like, really like to start a new business. And as I pulled together the different experiences I'd had and the different kind of knowledge that I had, the idea came to me to build an event booking system, so something similar in concept to something like Eventbrite, but build it for a specific market. Because it seems like the products that are out there already that the kind of larger corporate companies sell, they're what we call ticketing systems. So if you want to just buy a ticket and spend £10 for a yoga class or a couple of £100 for a festival ticket, and it's just like pay the money and turn up, they can do that. But there's so many events that people and organisations run which are way more complex than that in terms of what they'd like to be able to offer their clients and what they'd like to be able to manage in the way they streamline and create flow with their administration. So Workshop Angel was conceived, and it's implied in the name, something more orientated towards more complex workshops, but also festivals and retreat centres that do those kind of things, to bring in those features that people need running more complex events. Yeah,
wow, and it really is like, we talked about your marketing earlier on the side of the toilets at Butterfield, but that's where a lot of your audience is, right? At least kind of more. So it's more. It's not just for conscious events, but
it could be for any event.
Could be for any event.
When you start marketing a product, there's a whole marketing theory around target the product at a particular group of people who kind of know each other and talk to each other. And as those people start to use it, they will share it within their world. And then you get the word of mouth, which becomes, a very cost-effective and very powerful marketing tool for a business. So we've started marketing it to the conscious world. It's a lot of the ideas behind the product and behind the way we're running and building the business come from a lot of the conscious ideas that I've learned here at Osho Leela. So it's very applicable, and a lot of what we have to say, just really resonates with the conscious world. So that's where we're starting the marketing, but as the product grows and our business grows, because it's applicable to anyone running, it's applicable to anyone running any events.
Yeah.
So we still have yoga teachers and people like that using it for their weekly classes. But in particular, those people from other worlds outside of the conscious world, we'll start to work more closely with them and bring them on board as well. And I'm sure they will also see the benefits of working with someone that has all the features they need to help them run their business more smoothly.
Yeah, beautiful. And it is kind of, yeah, like you said, it's that comprehensiveness of like, and what's possible, which for us as a team is just like, oh, brilliant. Because, you know, just all of like, you know, we're talking about our system's pretty old school. And it's worked, it's done the trick, and it's been wonderful. And also, like, how can we make better use of time? And you know, we are definitely on a journey with Osho Leela with, you know, we have a very doing, we're always doing. It's like we do need to find more of a balance, and you know, your system's just taking out all of these like niggly little bits of manual things that actually, if we can incorporate into this system, into Workshop Angel, it frees up time for more creativity, more ideas, you know, more time to do things that we love. So that we're really living in that, you know, for me it's that importance of like, we're all doing the things that we love. We're all kind of creative beings. We've all got something to give, and like the kind of masculine container of a system is actually really powerful to be able to allow the flow.
Wow.
So we're very grateful.
Wow.
Very grateful
Thank
that
you
you created
for
it.
those words, Louise, because you've encompassed in such a beautiful way what we intended Workshop Angel to bring to our clients. Because administration can be such a heady thing, and without a system that automates all the stages of it, not just the booking, but for people running more complex events, there's a lot of emails they need to send out, and they may offer more than just full payment when people book, but they may offer a deposit and a final payment, or payment by installments, and tracking all those things, you know, either using some of the, you know, relatively old school technology like a spreadsheet, but then remembering to do all the things you need to do, and going, oh my God, we're offering single rooms. I think they've just all sold out. We've got to take them off the website, and oh no, an extra person's booked. Now we've got to change that booking. All those things become this massive amount of head chatter, which drain these beautifully creative people who are bringing such wisdom to the world and such healing to the world through the events and workshops and retreats and festivals that they offer. And for me, knowing this world so well, I wanted to bring something which would be of benefit to those who are bringing such beauty and wisdom and benefits to the people of the world. And I could have chosen to be out there, you know, holding some space, running some workshops of my own, and there's, you know, various things that fascinate me that I could hold that space in. But I realised that actually, exactly as you've described, bringing something that would allow hundreds and thousands of people to free up their headspace and drop more into that creative flow would actually be a massive benefit to this conscious world. So it's great to hear you describe it in that way, because that's exactly how.
And it's so, you know, broadening it out. It's so needed, because there's so many people that get stuck. I know from my own experience, get stuck in the admin and the, you know, they become whatever, a coach or a therapist or like a workshop leader, and it's like they're spending most of their time in that niggly, icky, you know, that was my perception of it. You know, you can get really stuck in that process, you know, rather than the actual work that you're kind of like here to do. So you'll be benefiting so many people in their creative process.
Yeah, and we're really excited about doing that. And I think it's not just the people who are doing those creative things right now to get them back into the creative side, but I think also we talk to people who are really concerned about whether it's a good idea to actually start a workshop or retreat based business in the first place, because they're in fear of being taken over by that admin that isn't their thing. And when they look at what Workshop Angel can do and realise actually a system can just automate 95% of that for them, they're like, great, let's actually go and start doing these things.
Yeah, beautiful.
So it's really exciting.
So one of the things I'm like super excited about, and Antony, you will know what I'm talking about already, is one of the functions is that you will be able to pay in installments. So you'll be able to set it up so that on a date each month or every few months or whatever, you can actually pay in installments, making it so much more accessible. I know for me personally, when I've been to festivals, you know, the lump sum is just never going to happen. It's a process of saving up or putting it onto a credit card or whatever. And so, you know, and I experienced it kind of like last summer with a festival where I was just able to pay it in small amounts, which was totally possible. And then I had the festival at the end of it. So for me, like, this is going to be one of the features which really makes, like I said, more accessibility for people, so that it's a small amount each month. So largely benefiting a lot of our community who perhaps can't afford those big lump sums, which is amazing.
And it's a feature we're really excited about, because we want to not only make the process of running workshops and retreats and events that are bringing so much benefit to the world easier for those who are running them. We want to make it easier for people who want to benefit from those events to attend them. And for many people, as Louise says, having that amount of money, because you know these types of events that bring the kind of benefits we're talking about are not going to be particularly cheap. And so making it so that people can actually, at the moment that they're excited about the event, when they may not have the money in the bank, but then go, God, I really want to go to that. Look, it's just been published, you know, it's cold and dark in January, and I just can't wait to be at that event, be at that festival, and feel those benefits that's going to bring when the summer comes in July. But I just don't have the money right now. To be able to go, well, actually, in this moment of passion and excitement, I can actually commit a manageable amount of money and then pay this small amount every month. Wow, suddenly I can do that. And I can book it when I'm excited about it. I know I'm going to be able to go. I know those monthly payments will be affordable. And it's great for, you know, the attendees to be able to make that commitment and know they can go earlier on. And it's great for someone like Osho Leela to be able to see earlier on that you're getting the numbers of people committed. That makes it feel like this is an event you can run. And you know, people running events at external facilities, they need to know by a certain time that they'll have enough bookings to pay for the venue. And this enables people to really see that and know that.
Totally. And as you're talking, it's like, for me as well, like the psychology, right? Like what actually happens in the body when you really want something, but it doesn't seem, it's like, it's, you know, it's this much and I can't, can I afford it? Or, you know, compared to being able to kind of like put that commitment down. Because then already it's like, that's manageable. And then it's like, I don't know, I feel like the relaxation in the body from that, like with this event I referred to earlier, it was just like, I'm going. And you can actually get excited rather than the delay, what am I going to do? Maybe I could do, you know, or it's just, interesting, because then you're living your life in a different vibration as well, because you're already there, right? You're already like, yes, I'm committed. So interesting.
It's that whole thing around feeling more in the flow.
Yeah.
The more we can take away all these little pieces of stress that sit on our shoulders, they may not seem massive, whether it's the administration or the, I'd really like to go to that event, but the more we can just pick those pieces of small but tangible stress away from our being, the more we can live life in full and in the flow.
So this is actually really powerful. I didn't realise we were going to go there with this conversation. For me, it's just like, I feel like that excitement of like how actually that contribution is so much more than what, you know, a tech system.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's great, and it's going to be great for us, great for you, and great for the people that come to Osho Leela. So
that's a win-win-win.
Win-win-win.
That's what we want.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast, Antony. It's been a total pleasure having you here. And just some space now for you to actually tell people where to go. To find out
nicest
more.
Possible way.
Tell them where to go.
I will tell you where to go to find out more information.
Yeah.
So the best place to start is our website, which is at workshop-angel.com. And from there you can read about the product, you can go and log in and try it out. And I think one of the other things that we didn't talk about but feels really important is we don't see Workshop Angel just as a piece of software. We see it as a service that we're offering. So you'll see on the website that we do our support through WhatsApp. So if you start using it and you've got a question, you can type a WhatsApp, you can send us a voice message, you can shoot a little film or a little image of your computer screen, and we will be there to support you 7 days a week. We don't close at 5 o'clock. If you've got a question in the evening, we'll try and be around at some point of the evening to give you an answer. And WhatsApp just makes it so much easier with voice and video and the breadth of media for us to communicate. And then we will also support you on Zoom. So for most people in our world, using a system like this is a little bit of that's a lot of kind of head, logical, admin, geeky stuff to get to understand. But don't worry, because we will be there for you. We'll do a Zoom call with you and point you in the right direction. Now, quite often people will WhatsApp a question and the answer's a little bit involved. Maybe there's a few concepts to understand to really take it on board. So we'll go, hey, shall we just jump on Zoom for 10 minutes and take a look? So yeah, it's not just a product and it's not just the website to tell you. It's a whole level of support, which we believe is bringing a different perspective to having a product like this. And it's part of how we see we're bringing this not just as a traditional business, but what we see as a conscious business. Yeah, beautiful. And yeah, that just totally lights me up, because how beautiful that, you know, somebody who is not going to share their gifts because of this layer, this icky layer of like admin and so on. And just getting started. And you'll be benefiting so many people with all of your knowledge and skills and doing it in a really beautiful way. So. Thank you, Louise. Yay! So thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure having you here, Antony. Thank you, Kellyanne, for the videography in the background. You're doing a great job. And thank you guys at home for watching. It's been really, really beautiful. So we'll see you next time. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye. Bye.